Is the real estate market in Northwest Montana going to crash? I get this question every week from buyers who are worried about catching a falling knife and from sellers who are worried that they have missed the top. Today, I'm going to break down the numbers, the days on market, the median sales price, list to sales price ratio, where buyers and sellers have leverage, and the data, what's actually going on, as well as certain dynamics between buyers and sellers that we are seeing right now in the Flathead County real estate market and how you can use this to your leverage to get a better deal and the highest price on your home. Let's dive into it. I'm Lindsay Iskerka, local real estate agent here with the Living in Kalispell real estate team. We get calls, texts, and emails from people just like you every single day wondering, what's life really like in Montana? What's the real estate market doing there? Can I find a good deal? Is now a good time to buy or sell? If you have those questions, all of our contact information is below. Please reach out to us. We'd love to connect with you. And if you want to continue to have real talk about what's going on in the Flathead County real estate market, hit that like and subscribe button, as well as the bell to receive notifications of new videos so you don't miss an update. So first, let's describe what a real estate crash actually means. This is going to feel very different than we have experienced in the last several years since the COVID pandemic. We have been on a 5-year run for a strong seller's market throughout the majority of the country. And a correction could feel like a crash, but is it really? Most people picture prices falling 20%, 30%, homes piling up, desperate sellers, and that's not what we're seeing here locally. We are seeing a cooler, more balanced market than the frenzy that we had in 2020 through 2022, but it is not a free fall. We are definitely seeing a correction. So let's take a look at the numbers right now. As of the recording of this video, this is the most recent stats that we have for Flathead County for July 2025. For single family homes, new listings are actually down by 0.9% July 2025 in comparison to July 2024. So roughly the same amount of houses are being put on the market as they were this time last year, with a slight decrease. However, one of the most important metrics to pay attention to when you're looking at what's the real estate market doing right now is pending sales. Pending sales are any homes that have accepted an offer, the seller and buyer are in contract, and the goal is to transfer title from the seller to the buyer. That is what's going to tell you what is happening right now. How many offers are being accepted, how many homes are going from listing to under contract, from under contract to sold, and that's going to give you an overall idea of the current demand. Not looking at comparable sales that are 3 months, 6 months, 9 months old and beyond. We could be in a completely different market. Let me show you what I mean. For single family homes in Flathead County, pending sales in July 2024 was 117. July 2025, we are down to 21 homes in escrow right now as of July 2025. That is a decrease of over 82%. Let me say that again. 82% fewer homes are in escrow right now than at this time last year. And last year, we started to see a cooling of the market too. So this is pretty significant. And that tells you that right now, buyers are seeing houses. We do have lots of showings. We do have some decent activity. However, they're either not writing offers that are getting accepted, or buyer and seller are just not coming to an agreement on price and terms. And we're not actually putting contracts together. We're not putting transactions together. And that is resulting in 82% fewer pending sales right now than there were a year ago. However, closed sales for single family homes in Flathead County are about the same. So July 2024, we had 118 closed sales. July 2025, we have 119 closed sales. So pretty much the same amount of closings, but I will be curious to see what the closings are for August 2025. So let me know in the comments below if you want me to do a follow-up video to this to show you the ramifications of having 82% fewer homes in escrow than this time last year. Okay, now the median sales price. In July 2024, the median sales price was $685,000. In July 2025, the median sales price is $725,000. That's an increase of 5.7%. However, let's look at the average. The average is a bit of a different story. In July 2024, the average sales price in Flathead County was $1,051,345. In July 2025, the average sales price is $1,031,369, a difference of 1.9%. So even if the median sales price is up, the average sales price is down slightly. And there could be a few different factors for this. We'll dive into that later in this video, so stick around. Inventory of homes for sale. Now this is your supply. This is how many houses are available for buyers to purchase. In July 2024, we had 612 homes for sale in Flathead County. In July 2025, we have 951. That's an increase of inventory of 55.4%. And that is resulting in what you see below with the month supply of inventory increasing pretty drastically from 6.7 months of supply in July 2024 to 11 months of supply in July 2025. An increase, therefore, of 64.2% month supply of inventory. So what month supply of inventory means is that there are no other houses to be listed. How long would it take for the current inventory to sell? Anything above 6 months of inventory is considered a buyer's market. So in July 2024, Flathead County did teeter just past the statistic to be a buyer's market. In July 2025, we are now up to 11 months of inventory. This is something really to be mindful of if you're a buyer or a seller. If you're a seller, you have to be extremely strategic about listing your home for sale. It may not be the best time to maximize equity and get the best terms and have the leverage. On the buy side, however, if you have been holding off and you want more ability to negotiate price and terms and closing cost credits, interest rate buy downs, repairs to be done, and so forth, this is your chance. You have a lot more inventory to choose from, and you don't have to make a decision really quickly. You don't have to necessarily go against a ton of competing offers. And what we're finding as well is that if a seller does have their home listed for this long, they need to sell. They're highly motivated to sell. They may not necessarily be in a distress situation, but there is a compelling reason to make them try and sell their house right now. So you as a buyer can take advantage of that and actually negotiate a deal that works for both buyer and seller. This is a more balanced market. Still, buyers do have the leverage, but both sides have to negotiate again. And that's a good thing. And that's refreshing, perhaps, for someone who felt like they were priced out of the market for so long, or they couldn't compete. They didn't want to get into bidding wars. This is a great time to take advantage of fewer offers being written and fewer homes actually going into escrow. Sellers are more likely to want to work with buyers to find common ground and get the transaction closed. So what else could be contributing to this drastic increase of months of supply? Well, if you drive around the Flathead Valley, you definitely notice we have a lot of new construction homes that have hit the market. Sometimes these new construction homes become active before they're even done being built. And it's hard for a lot of buyers to envision the house when it's still not even completed yet. The finishes aren't in, there's no kitchen yet. They can't envision themselves making this a home for themselves and for their family. So that supply of inventory is definitely contributing to the increased month supply that we see of homes for sale. And there are a lot of new builds in the Flathead Valley that could be a great option for a buyer looking to get into an area like Kalispell. Because, for example, if you want to be close to amenities like Glacier National Park, Hutton Ranch Plaza that has the Costco and the Target and the REI and the major schools in the area, you can still find a lot of more affordable new construction homes in the valley where the builders want these homes sold. And they're going to give you some rate buy downs. They're going to give you some closing cost credits, and you could get a better price than you were to get if interest rates do come down and buyer demand increases again. That price is going to go up. So you can really lock in a brand new home at a better price today than you could maybe 6 months ago, 12 months ago, and definitely a lower price than we were to get if interest rates do come down. If you're curious what new construction homes look like here in Kalispell, check out my other video where I do a home tour and a vlog style of 2 new construction homes that are affordable and are really close to town, just to give you an idea of the kind of home that you can get for around the median home price here in Kalispell, Montana. What else could be driving today's market conditions? Well, a huge lever is mortgage rates. Mortgage rates determine affordability of the majority of the buyer population if they are using financing to obtain home ownership. As of early August 2025, the average 30-year fix hovered around 6.6%. We could see rates start to trickle down in the rest of 2025, but I wouldn't bank on that. No one has a crystal ball, and truthfully, no one can predict with certainty what is going to happen. Rates have remained pretty steady, but we are seeing actually the lows for 2025 right now as of the recording of this video. So you could get a better interest rate than you could get a couple of months ago, coupled with sellers paying to buy down your interest rate a bit more. This could be a great time to pursue a home, even if mortgage interest rates aren't necessarily where you'd like to see them. If you want to see how changes in interest rates affect your affordability and if it makes sense to purchase at today's interest rates, look at our contact information down below. I share a preferred lender that I work with who happens to be my husband, and he can help you weigh the pros and cons of this current market and see how much you can afford in today's market. My honest prediction too is that if rates do drift lower into the low 6s or even have a 5 in front, if it's a 5.99% interest rate, we are going to have more buyers re-enter the market. It may not result in a surge of home prices, but it will definitely make homes move more quickly. Buyers' negotiating power will be lower, therefore, because there's more competition. So interest rates are really driving how many buyers are pursuing homes right now. So to sum that up, is Kalispell crashing? No. We've corrected from last year's prices. Sellers are negotiating and the market is normalizing. And I think this is a really good thing. I really want prices to normalize because I want more Montanans to be able to afford a median priced home. Montanans work very hard and they're very proud of where they grew up. They're proud to live here in the Flathead County. They should be able to enjoy the benefit of home ownership. And the way to do that is to make homes more affordable for everyone. So what's going to happen in the next 6 to 12 months? Well, no one has a crystal ball, of course, and anyone predicting what the real estate market's going to do with such certainty, they honestly have no idea. They're just speculating. So here's my opinion on what I think is going to happen. If predictions come true that the Fed is going to be lowering interest rates up to 3 times at the end of 2025, that could affect mortgage interest rates to come down enough to fuel a bit more activity as we lead into the cooler months. And that could help some of this inventory move a bit more, get more of the homes off the market, and make buyers feel more comfortable offering the price that the sellers want in order to sell. One thing that I didn't mention I think is important is that we are seeing higher levels of sellers pulling their homes from the market if they don't get their price. So I think that's a good thing. If a seller doesn't really need to sell right now, they're not necessarily going to be accepting a lower offer than what they need in order for it to make sense for them to actually move. They're pulling their homes off the market, they're staying put, and they're going to wait until a better opportunity arises. If interest rates do trickle down into the low 6% range, they could try again. If rates remain flat and there's no real change for the rest of 2025, I do think that we're going to see more sellers of existing homes pulling their houses from the market. What's going to be left are the motivated sellers and the new construction homes that are done and ready for a buyer to snatch them up. That's what's going to be available. And buyers are going to have continued negotiation power to try and find a deal to make it work. What we are still experiencing too is what we call the locked-in effect. So the lock-in effect is a phenomenon happening in the real estate market. It's been happening for a few years now, where people who have their houses, maybe they bought during 2020, 2021, or even just refinanced during that time, and they have an interest rate below 4%, they are staying put. Maybe they want to move, maybe they want to upgrade, maybe they'd like to move to a different area, but they either can't afford a house where they want to go, or it just doesn't make sense for them to sell their house when they have such a great interest rate and affordable payment. So they're hanging tight. If we do see mortgage rates start to decrease a bit, buyer activity start to pick up again, days on market starting to decrease, we could see people who were affected by the locked-in effect start to put their houses on the market and then become buyers for the bigger homes. And then we'll see some movement here in the Flathead Valley. What it seems right now is that the market is kind of at a standstill. Sellers don't want to come down in price to where buyers want to meet them, and buyers are wanting to make the house work for them financially. So they're negotiating seller credits towards closing costs and interest rate buy downs and more repairs to be done for them to feel comfortable purchasing at the price that the home is at, with mortgage interest rates and affordability being where it is. By the way, Montana was ranked one of the most unaffordable states in all of the United States based upon median home price and median household income. Check out my other video where I did a whole deep dive into this finding if you want to find out more about that. In the somewhat unlikely event that interest rates actually increase and increase significantly, we will definitely see a deeper correction. Maybe, dare I say, crash, but we could see some more short sales. We could see some more foreclosures in the area, and we could definitely see prices come down. I do believe the Flathead County is very resilient and they will recover from any particular real estate correction or crash that could take place. We won't stay down for very long. So here's some actionable advice for buyers in this market. Get pre-approved, not just pre-qualified. Target homes priced for today's comps and not yesterday's hopes. Look at the days on market and recent price reductions, and that's where the negotiation power really lives. That's where you're gonna find the sellers who are more willing to put a deal together and really just want their home sold. Consider new builds too. A lot of these builders are offering rate buy downs into the purchase price as it is, and they want to move that inventory. For sellers, price with the comps that actually close in the last 60 to 90 days. Not the neighbor's list price, not what sold a year ago, and not for a home that's not comparable to yours truly. Expect a 94-95% sale to list outcome, meaning your home will actually sell perhaps at about 94% of your list price, pending it's listed at today's market value. But if you price competitively and strategically, you may actually get more buyer activity, giving you some leverage to choose the best buyer, the most motivated buyer, and perhaps decrease the buyer's negotiation power on you and your home. Make sure that your home shows a 10 out of 10 from day one. Really have your realtor go through the house with you and let you know anything that needs to be modified to make it show as best as it possibly can. You really have to wow the buyers in today's market to get them interested in seeing your home and pursuing your home. The first 2 weeks are everything. So price correctly, make your home stand out, make it look amazing, increase the likelihood of you getting the price that you want and the terms that are a bit more favorable for you than a home that's been sitting on the market. So thank you so much for watching. I hope this was helpful. And if it is, do me a favor and like and subscribe to the channel. We put out real talk every single week about life in Northwest Montana. What's going on in real estate? What's going on in the area? What's it really like to live here? So if you're considering a move to Northwest Montana, check out my other videos where I talk about the pros and cons of places like Kalispell and Whitefish and the best places to live around Glacier National Park. And comment down below if you want me to do a follow-up video to this one to see where we're at in the next 2 months with pending sales being so far below where they were at last year. And if you're wondering if today's market conditions could make sense for you to buy or sell in Northwest Montana, reach out to us. All of our contact information is below. We'd love to connect with you and help you weigh the pros and cons of today's market to help you decide if it's the right time for you. Now remember, timing the market isn't the best strategy. Time in the market is. If you purchase real estate and plan to hold on to it for the long term, you can weather the storms. You can weather the ups and downs. Purchase a home that you and your family could be comfortable in for many years to come, and you can take advantage of the market when the time is right for you. Again, thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.